Congress actually did finally kind of agree on some kind of a stimulus bill. But there's some problems with it. And I think most of us know kind of like the big issues with it. It's a $900 billion stimulus bill. I want to do some quick math here. Some quick maths, if you will. Just humor me, right? We have the big screen calculator. So it's a $900 billion stimulus bill, right? So it's this number. And if we divide that up by the population of the United States, which is about 327 million, yes, that is the population of the U.S. No, it'll be fine, because it just has to be roughshod. It'll be fine. We come up with a number that looks kind of like this. Now, what does this mean? Well, this means that for a 900 billion stimulus bill, if you weren't spending so much time bailing out big businesses, you would have $2,752. Now, technically, that $752 there, you could use that bit right there, and then just have that for people who have small businesses, when small businesses need to be pushed through, when they need to get assistance. Because, for example, my parent owns a small business, and I don't know what button I just hit, but it was the bad button. And, any little bit of help right now would be great, because in any other economy that wasn't being literally bent over a signpost, and I don't want to be that graphic on a video, but you kind of get the idea. Any other economy would be fine for people who own stuff like antique shops or card shops or stuff like that. But it's very hard for businesses like that to actually function right now, because people are stockpiling for their necessities. They're worried about the shit going on with what happened with the election. The United States is not in a good place here, but the point is, we're all getting $600 based on what the current COVID relief bill looks like. And at the very least, with the amount of money that was pushed forward, we could have afforded $2,000 per person and been fine. Like, consider that other countries, like New Zealand, Canada, these countries, when they did their stimulus bill to deal with the COVID relief, what did they do? Well, they gave their people enough money to continue locking down so they could get a handle on the virus. New Zealand managed to eliminate COVID without a vaccine because they had enough to just lock everyone down. America loves its people so much that they gave us all $1,200 and then said, don't worry, we have more bills coming. More stimulus will be coming. And then it just fucking didn't. Leave it to politicians to lie. Go right ahead. Leave it to them to lie. Who's ever accused a politician of the crime of being honest? But you have to wonder, with the amount of money being pushed for in a stimulus bill like this, why are we not getting paid more? And to any of you morons, I'm just going to go ahead and call you that. To any of you morons, to any of you dipshits, to any of you fucking imbeciles who try to get the comment, they could have just given you nothing. I am so sorry that your parents did not raise you properly to where your standards of how something that you pay into, because you pay taxes, so you pay into your government, you're okay with them not taking care of you because, they didn't have to. The government is supposed to be the servant of the people. That's what it should be. That's what it should be, at the end of the day. If we are paying taxes into the government, they should not be the rulers over us. They should be our servants. That's in a normative system. That's what we should have. But what do we have instead right now? Well, we have basically rulers, insofar as we can influence them somewhat democratically with our broken election system. But I have to keep circling back to that whole, like, why just $600? It feels almost like an insult. So many other countries that are not as rich as the United States, that they don't have as much money as we do, were able to afford taking care of their citizens. But the United States, we couldn't. And I'm sure there's going to be some idiot in the comments that goes, well, we have more people. Yeah, more people means we also have more people paying into taxes, which basically nullifies your argument. So sit back down. It's okay. Grade school's that way. If you need to go there, that's cool. You can come back to the video when you're done. Okay? Simple math is simple. So you have to wonder, why are we getting so little? Other countries have done so much better. And instead of doing what we were kind of promised, which was a series of bills that would be used to make sure that people could sustain themselves during this time, we have one of the highest employment rates, or unemployment rates, in the United States history. We have a crippled economy. We have people who are barely able to scrape by, and I'm lucky. I'm happy that I have the privilege to have a YouTube channel. This means that I can work from home, I don't have to go anywhere, and more people being at home stuck watching YouTube ends up kind of working out for me. I get to speak kind of from a position of privilege here. So, but I've had friends and I've seen people who are completely screwed over by this, and they're basically getting a slap in the face. There was a post that Raz showed me earlier about leaving a quarter tip on a table and what that says to a waiter. Because if you don't leave anything on the table, oh, well, they forgot their tip. But if you leave something like a quarter, something like $1, that's a slap to the face. Because the waiter sees that and goes, no, they knew, they understood that I needed a tip, and they gave me this anyway. What do you think that people in Congress think $600 does? It's a lot of money, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. There were times where $600 was, more than I made in 2 weeks of working when I was working at Walmart. But at the end of the day, what is $600 in the face of everything else that's been happening? In the face of everything that has gone on during this whole ordeal? What is $600 going to do? If somebody is not allowed to be kicked out of their house because they can't make rent, so the rent is piling up, what is the $600 going to do when it's time for them to get evicted? I can tell you right now, there's almost no places, especially not here, where you can get rent for $600. That's just rent. That's not utilities. That's not groceries. That's nothing. That's nothing. Do you think that $600 is what people in Congress, who are, generally speaking, more well-to-do than most of us, do you think $600 is what they think we think a lot of money is? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. But it feels like that. It does. Now, I know that there's a bit of a curveball I'm going to be hitting everybody with. If the stuff that is being said in this in this article that I'm about to put up is true, then I may actually have to agree with Trump on something, and that's kind of weird. But apparently, according to Yahoo Money, it was also apparently according to Washington Post. But well, I'm sorry, Washington Post. I'm not going to throw money at you to read your article when other people have already plagiarized it. I'm sorry. But President Trump threatens that coronavirus relief bill, he will not sign it unless it has $2,000 in it for the stimulus check. President Donald Trump signals that he may not sign the $900 billion stimulus bill approved by Congress, describing part of it as wasteful spending oh boy, it's almost like when you break it down with math, yeah, there's a lot of money just going to fuck all where. The bill they're now planning to send back to my desk is so much different than anticipated, he said in a video posted on his Twitter account. I'm also asking Congress to immediately get rid of the wasteful and unnecessary items for this legislation and to send me a suitable bill. Trump then targeted the stimulus check under the current legislation, asking Congress to amend the bill and increase the ridiculously low $600 to $2,000, or $4,000 for a couple. The direct payments are $600 per individual and $600 per child under the bill. Nancy Pelosi welcomed the president's initiative to raise the amount of payments, saying that there's support for the measure in the Democratic-controlled House. Says Republicans repeatedly refused to say what amount the president wanted for direct checks, she responded in a tweet on Tuesday evening, and at last the president has agreed to $2,000. Democrats are ready to bring this to the floor this week by unanimous consent. The final $900 billion stimulus bill passed both chambers of Congress on Monday night with overwhelming support. Of course it did, because it was fucking breadcrumbs. Like, I don't understand how. I guess we just have to keep on going back to that $600 thing. Like, why the fuck $600? Who? That's not enough to get people through a fucking month. Let alone the amount of time that coronavirus has been pegging us on the fence line. But around $166 billion of the package will be used for the second round of stimulus payments. $166 billion of the package, huh? Okay, well, let's do a quick. Is that true? $166 billion. There's our number. Let's divide that again by 327 million. And yeah, that at least makes sense. That is at least close to the number that we're thinking there, $507. That's close to $600. That's ballpark enough for this. But isn't it sad that the citizens in the United States are so ill thought of by members of Congress that when we are given a stimulus bill, less than a fifth of that bill has anything to do with us? Now, I'm sure you could make an argument that, well, the amount that's going for other corporations and stuff, that's, they're citizens too. I'm sorry. You're asking the leftists to care about somebody who's in the bourgeoisie? I'm sorry, no. Sorry, I can't. I can't muster the cares. I can't muster the fucks to give. I can't. And at the very least, we did get something. But again, I'm sure there's going to be some moron. And, normally I don't try to insult my audience, but I will. If you want to be the type of person who goes, don't be so ungrateful, at least you're getting anything, I'm not being ungrateful. I'm in a position where that $600 is basically going to be a buffer to prevent me from being completely and totally ass-ended by the amount of repairs that I had to do on my house. But as far as my bills and stuff, I have those taken care of. I have those covered. I am not the type of person that needs this bill. It will be nice. It will help. It will help smooth things over, given the house repairs I'm having to do. But at the end of the day, if I never receive this, that's fine. That's fine by me. But there are people who do need this. There are people who do need this bill. And not just this one. There are people who needed at least 5 of these, if not more. There are people who needed their government to actually take care of them. At the end of the day, we take care of the government. We pay our taxes. The least the government can do then is take care of us as well. That's what it should do. In a normative world, in a normative system, that's what should happen. But instead, we get this situation where we get handed crumbs. We get handed crumbs. Now, let's take a look here. Inside the $900 stimulus bill, new legislation includes this. So, how much is going on here? We have $325 billion in aid to small businesses. Cool. $45 billion in aid to transportation. $82 billion in aid to education. $63 billion in aid to healthcare. That seems like an awfully small number, though, when you consider the amount of healthcare that actually had to happen, COVID. We have $10 billion here for childcare. That, again, seems like a really slow number. $25 billion in rental assistance and eviction moratorium. So somebody's actually going to need to apply for the rental assistance? Still. And then nutrition and agriculture, $26 billion. So I wonder how much of this aid to small businesses here is actually going to make it to small businesses. How much do you want to bet? Because I can tell you, as somebody whose family owns a small business, they received next to nothing when they applied for the last relief. So how much of that do you think is actually going to go to them? I know that's an anecdote. I know it's anecdotal evidence. I understand. But it is also reality. It's a reality that I deal with. When I go and I walk into their shop and I see that there's nobody here. During a time of year where last year business was completely and totally booming. But, people aren't shopping there right now because everything else that's going on. COVID panic, COVID just in general, the election panic. You'd think, at the end of the day, that people like that would actually get a little bit of help because realistically, what you don't want is you don't want the Walmarts and the Targets and the Starbuckses to be the only things that are left when this is over. You don't want just, your bourgeois chains to be the ones that are left whenever we actually get back to some form of normalcy. But that always circles us back to why $600? Why such a small amount? Why does our government think that that's going to help? And they can't sit here and give us the lie they did before of, oh, well, more bills will be coming soon. We'll make sure that, you guys are taken care of because you're American citizens. We love you. We don't have to accept that lie now. We swallowed that fucking lie 8 months ago. And here we are. It is December. And they're still fighting over a bill. And how much you want to bet if they're still fighting over this soon, Mitch McConnell's just going to go, okay, Congress is out. We'll manage this some other time. I have no idea. I know that it's not enough. It's not enough for most people. It's kind of a spit in the face, honestly. But go ahead. Be that person that says, be grateful you got anything at all. Go ahead. And while you're at it, go ahead and shovel mud into your face.